Thanks, mate. This is important for, so when you go overseas, obviously different countries have different currencies, and you swap your Australian dollars for the currency of the country you're going to. A lot of the time they use what they call a mid-rate for the exchange rate. So it's the average of the buying price and the selling price of the currency that you're exchanging. Every different currency has their own unique code, and it's just basically an easy way of identifying what currencies each country uses. Today we're doing a few examples of swapping Australian dollars with India's currency, which is rupees, and America's country, which is dollars, US dollars. Your textbook has a very large table that looks similar to this with a lot of different countries on it, but I just drew up these two because they're the two that we use for the examples. So if you want to have a look at the other ones, you can. It's pretty exciting stuff, but this is the gist of what's on the table. So the first example in the book says, from the table, calculate the exchange rate or the mid-rate for the Australian dollar and American dollar and answer to 4 decimal places. Usually when currencies are published in newspapers and stuff like that, they use it to 4 decimal places. I'm not sure why actually, but that's what it goes to. And obviously we only have 100 cents in our dollar, so we use the first 2 after the decimal point. But to start with, what you do is to find the mid-rate, you get the average of the buying price and the selling price. So for this one, we're using the buying price and the selling price of the US dollar. So to find the average, the exchange rate, we add them together and we divide them by 2, which is a pretty easy start. So 1.0920 plus 1.0077, and we divide that by 2 to get, someone have a calculator, or do I have to just read it off this?
You have to do it in your head.
I have to do it in my head? I can't do that.
That's the challenge.
That is a huge challenge, but it is, hang on, let me think about it. 2.0997 divided by 2, which I cannot do in my head. And it equals 1.0499. So that there is our, that's our exchange rate for US dollars and Australian dollars. So we've found that. Part B says, how much to the nearest dollar is 5,000 Australian dollars worth in US dollars? So what we need to do is we know what the exchange rate is, and so now we multiply 5,000 by what the exchange rate is, which is a pretty easy step. So 1.0499 times 5,000 for the price we're after, which equals, let me do it in my head, 5249.5. But we're rounding to the nearest dollar, which is, oh, not that.
So which one's A?
5250. So this is part A, this is part A. And this was the first half of part B, BI. 5,000 Australian dollars worth in US dollars. And the next one we'll do is we'll turn 5,000 US dollars into Australian dollars. Now, when you're converting, in your book you've got a little sort of grey panel at the top of the right page, and I just wrote it up here for you, nice and pretty. But to convert Australian dollars to a foreign currency, we multiply by the exchange rate, which is what we did here. And next what we're going to do is get a foreign currency to Australian dollar. So what we have to do is we have to divide by the exchange rate. So we'll do exactly that. We'll go 5,000 US dollars divided by our exchange rate, 1.0499, which will get us $4,762.30, but because we have to round up to the nearest dollar, we get 4,762. So one of the important things to remember with this is when you're going from Australian to the foreign currency or whatever currency to another currency, you multiply, but from foreign currency back to Australian currency, you have to divide by the exchange rate. I'll give you a sec to write that up, and then we'll move on to the next little bit. All good?